Hi, my name's Kathleen, and I am the owner of Road to Freedom Life Coaching. I am a life coach, and I am also what you might call an energy worker. I help people to release stuck energies from the body so they can live an easier and happier life. And I've had a question come up that I thought was a very good question to base a video on. And that question is, how do I stop walking around feeling so angry and sad all the time? And I thought that was a really good question, because that is something that we can all relate to. I mean, those are all feelings that we've had, and they can be overwhelming. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about those energies, those emotions. Why do we have them? Are they good for anything, and what we can use them for? So to start off, you have to understand who we are first. We are beings of incredible power. We are beings who have existed forever, and we will continue to exist forever because we are made of energy. And energy cannot die. It can change form, but it cannot die. And so we will live forever. And while we're living this, very, very long time, which our brains can't even compute here, we will be learning. And part of that learning is understanding what all these emotions mean. So, if we've always existed and we will continue to exist, there will be many different things we are going to want to experience. And right now, in this human form, we are wanting to experience all these different energies on Earth, all the different energies that bring us growth as the spirit, the being that is really inside of here. And so what we do before coming here is we set up challenges for us. We set up lessons to learn, because this is not happenstance. We are here for a reason. And so if you can understand that, you can understand that you would want to learn things then while you're here. And so let's talk about Earth life. Okay, since we already understand that we live forever, we are eternal. So let's get down to being here on Earth. So we're here on Earth, and we're tired of that heavy feeling of being angry all the time, or maybe being sad a lot, and we don't quite know what to do with this. And it's very frustrating to live that way. It takes a lot of our energy. I mean, you don't even feel like getting up some mornings when you're really sad all the time and angry. So what I want you to understand is those energies are not here to cause us pain for no reason, because yes, they can be painful. Those energies are signs for us that we are wanting to learn something on Earth. And for instance, it's kind of like pain. We have pain of different sorts here. We have the pain of picking up a hot pan and burning our hand. And so that teaches us, don't pick up that hot pan. Well, these emotions are learning experiences for us also. So let's say that you've had a pretty good life, and you are working day to day on your job and your family, and you're still sad, and you're still angry, and you don't get it. You've made all these accomplishments, and it doesn't really leave you feeling satisfied. You still feel like, there's something missing here. And that's a sign too. That's a sign that you're ready to start learning more of eternal lessons and not so much just earthly lessons. So for your spirit, this is a really good thing. This means you're ready to gain more energy, pull more energy and light into your being. And the real us before we came here understands all that we wanted to learn here. We were so excited to come to Earth. We were so excited to be able to explore all the different feelings of being human, and we loved it here because there's so much diversity for us, so many different things to feel, so many things to experience. You know, we couldn't wait to feel, to see what it feels like to be really happy here and really sad here, and maybe to see what it felt like to be really ill here, and see what it feels like to be really healthy here, and really thin and maybe really fat. And you know, the spirit looks at things very differently than we tend to look at things when we are actually here in human form. And that's because we want to learn. That is our driving force. We want to learn. We want to gain more compassion. We want to gain empathy, and that's the biggest thing we can gain. And the difference between compassion and empathy is that you can have compassion for someone and never really gone through what they're going through. But with empathy, you totally get it. You have been there. You have felt what this person is feeling, and you really understand that energy of what's going on right then. And so for us, that's huge. We really want to understand these things and feel these things and grow from these experiences. And so here we are, we're on this earth, and now we're grumpy and sad and everything all the time, and that again is another sign. That's a sign that says if you're ready, if you want to wake up to this, you can move on to some higher understandings. So the signs that we get when we're ready to do that are signs of being sad, being angry all the time, not feeling satisfied with anything. And those are signs telling us, heads up, you got a lesson here. Now you can take the lesson and you can understand it and apply the good principles to your life, or you don't have to take the lesson. It's up to you. There's no judgment here. You can stay in your pain and your anger for as long as you want. That's not up to anybody but you. But if you're ready, if you really want to learn more about why you're here, then let's take a look at that right now, okay? So let's take anger, for example. When a human being has anger, there is always fear in the core of that anger. So if you want to understand more, raise yourself up higher in a spiritual sense, then you can understand that anger is your sign showing you that you are really afraid of something right now. And I'm not talking about the kind of anger that, oh, that guy just tried to punch me. I'm not talking about that. Of course you're going to feel fear right then and be angry about that. I'm talking about the things in life that it's not so easy to figure out, why you are so angry with what you're angry about. So the first thing I would suggest that you do when you're really angry about something is try to get yourself to where you have some time alone and really think about this. What is the fear beneath all of this anger you're feeling right now? What is the fear there? Why is this making you so fearful? And that's the first thing you can do. And you don't want to just feel it a little bit and think about it a little bit. When you are really angry about something, the best thing you can do is get some time by yourself and feel as angry as you can about it. I mean, really, from 0 to 10, you want to feel like a 15 if you can get yourself to there. You know, you really want to make yourself feel as angry as you can about it. And then you want to make yourself feel as fearful as you can about it. And the reason you want to do that is because when we do that, that actually helps release some of the built-up tension inside of us. We're actually allowing these energies to come forth instead of trying to keep stopping them. And so that is actually helpful for us to do. Now, there is something that you can use right then when you are so angry, and that is emotional freedom technique, or EFT. Some people just call it tapping. Because what happens to us as we live our lives, we start stuffing a lot of things in here. We stuff from the time we're tiny. We stuff fears, we stuff, you know, what people did to us, we stuff all these feelings in here. And those feelings aren't going to go anywhere. They're just going to sit in there and spin. So it's almost like if you can imagine someone treading water in a swimming pool. And there's all these balls in the water, these beach balls. And all these balls are different times you've been angry or hurt. And these are all things you don't want to think about. And so you spend a lot of your life trying to hold all these balls down in the water. And it's an exhausting way to live. And so what EFT does is it gives you the freedom to release some of those balls, so you're not having to hold them all in the water. And hopefully over time you'll release most of them, or if not all of them, which is a wonderful thing. So it's very exhausting to live that way and stuffing all that. So that's one thing you can do. Try to feel those feelings as deeply as you can. Try to find the fear underneath your anger to see really what's going on here. And once you can do that, it's a much more peaceful way to live for all of us if we can release some of that pain and let it go. Okay. And then, you know, other times when we're really angry about something, our brain can lie to us. So we also need to look at this and say, is this something my brain's just lying about? Am I imagining? You know, maybe we heard people are going to be laid off and we're just so ticked off because we just know we're going to be one of those people. We just know it. Now, you have to look at things sometimes and say, is that an absolute truth? Do I know that with absolute certainty that I am going to get laid off? So sometimes just looking at things in that way will help you calm down and say, well, I don't really know that right now. I can't know that for sure right now, right? So that can help calm the anger down a little bit too. And so there are different reasons why we have these angers and these painful feelings, and that is that these are signs to help us know we have something to take care of in here. There's something we need to do. Okay, so that's why we walk around feeling like that. And we do have emotional freedom technique to release some of that. But before we do, we want to make sure we have taken whatever learning we want from the situation. You know, you could be really angry that you keep doing something for someone who doesn't even appreciate it, you know, and perhaps you're really angry at yourself right now. Well, you can look at that anger and you can look at that pain and you can realize, well, I'm angry and I'm hurt because they don't even really know I'm doing all this. They don't even really appreciate it. So what is your lesson there? The lesson is stop doing it if people don't appreciate it. Stop and take care of yourself a little while. You don't have to keep doing things if someone isn't even going to appreciate you. It's okay to take care of you also. So sometimes our anger is pointing out a very quick lesson for us, and that is, hey, take care of yourself a little bit instead of spending time on somebody who really doesn't care. Okay? So, the other thing about pain and sadness is within a human, we feel pain and sadness when we are not willing to accept what is. When we don't want to accept what's really going on. So let's say you have met this wonderful person, and you are just so excited because you seem to have stuff in common, and this seems to be going in a wonderful direction, and everything seems fine. And then all of a sudden one day, it's not fine, and things are making you really sad in this relationship, and it's causing you a lot of pain. And no matter what you do trying to talk to this other person, it's almost like you're speaking two different languages now. Whereas it seemed like this person understood you before, and now it's like you can't get through. You're not heard. So, you can become very, very angry about this. And part of that anger is the fact that we refuse to accept a situation for what it is. Either people got together and they thought they were both matching in a certain way, and it ended up they really weren't, or they got together and somebody wanted to be with the other person a lot, so they were faking it how they really are, and after they become a couple, then the person says, well, I can just be how I am now, especially if you get married. And so this causes a lot of pain when relationships are having such a hard time. And so the first thing you do is recognize that you're in pain. Recognize this pain, recognize the sadness and the anger, and look at it for what it is. Recognize that anger, that there's a lot of fear behind it, because we don't, one of the toughest things for us to go through is abandonment. And we don't like that. And so it starts feeling like these abandonment issues come up when we're having a struggle in a relationship. And so, of course, the first thing you want to do is if the two people are willing, to see what you can do to work on this together and see if you've just hit a glitch in your relationship, or is this something more going on. Because we do set up on the other side situations where we get together with someone strictly for the purpose of learning some very deep lessons. And the pain that comes from this type of situation, when you have worked on things and you know in your heart, this is not going to work out. The pain comes from refusing to accept that. When you look at a situation in your life and you don't care what it is, you're going to stay in denial. I want this person to give me this, and that. I want all these emotions from them. I want them to take care of me. I want them to love me. And we go into this mode of clenching and gritting our teeth and trying to force something to happen. And when that happens, nobody really learns anything. Because when you're in that clench and grit mode, you just keep pushing and pushing forward, and you're not listening. You're not listening to what the signs are trying to tell you. They're saying, look, here's this situation. You are learning something here, but you are not supposed to be with this person. And the most painful part is when we won't accept that. When we just keep trying and trying and trying, and we won't accept the truth that this is just not where and with whom we're supposed to be with. And that causes most of our pain in life, that denial, that non-acceptance. And so, and this can happen between couples. This can happen when we have a loved one die and cross over. it can happen in many different areas of life. But always, 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 our pain comes through the strongest when we will not accept what is right in front of us. And sometimes we need help to do that. Sometimes we can't see what's right in front of us because we are so emotional about it. But this is one of the reasons we come to Earth, because there are some deep lessons to learn here. And the biggest lesson that we can learn in a situation like this is the truth that we matter, that we have worth, and that we are very important, that we are very loved, and we are very safe at all times. And when you are in a situation where you keep trying and trying to get this person to love you and stay with you and understand you, you go through such a massive amount of pain until you can get to that place of acceptance, until you can understand that sometimes in life couples come together so that they can learn from each other. This isn't a match to stay together and grow together. This was a different kind of match. This was a match to teach us a very important truth, and that is the truth of our worth. We couldn't be worth more than we are. You are worth so much, and it doesn't have anything to do with earth life. It doesn't have anything to do with what you own or what kind of job you have or what you look like, or it doesn't have anything to do with that. Your worth has already been established. Your worth is infinite, and the amount of people that love you and care about you and watch over you every day is infinite. So it's so much better if you can get with a counselor and you can actually open your eyes to the truth and admit what the truth is. As soon as you can admit what's really going on and realize that, a lot of the pain will subside. Because then you can take your lesson and you can start thinking about the future instead of starting to force something right now. The truth is, we aren't here for very long. It's like a blink of the eye, and I was a little kid, and you were a little kid. It goes so fast here. We are here to learn. We are here to grow. But it's up to us alone how much we want to learn and how much we want to grow. It's nobody else's business. If someone wants to stay in pain, if they want to stay in a relationship or a job or a city, whatever it is, that is not bringing them joy, they can. That is totally up to the individual. If you need more pain, if you need more of that lesson, before you understand your worth, then that's fine. That's absolutely fine. There's no judgment there. You can stay in pain as long as you want to. But when you're done with it, you can release it and let it go. But you first have to really admit what is really before you. You have to admit what is truly going on in order to have peace. Because denial causes us more pain than anything else on earth. To deny what's really happening is what causes our pain, because we shut down. We just shut down our hearts, we shut down everything, and we go into that clench mode, and that causes us pain. And so I know that we have a hard time with goodbyes sometime, but really, we're not here that long. The separation between you and your loved one, if they've died, will be in a blink of an eye also, and you will have them in your arms again. So, and that goes with relationships that have fallen apart, and if you're looking at it like that, because people don't go into a relationship thinking, oh good, this is going to be a great one for me to learn from. Yep, he's going to put me through hell. This will be good. That's not what we do. We go into a relationship thinking, I am in love. This person's wonderful. But the truth is, we set this up on the other side with some of our very, very best friends. And those best friends want us so much to learn how much we are truly worth. And so they're willing to be that person here who puts us through, who we allow ourselves to feel pain with. But again, we're not going to be here that long. When we get to the other side again, it will be our friend again, and we will be so grateful for what we have learned from this person, how they helped us remember our worth, how they helped us gather compassion and empathy for someone else who might be going through this. So the biggest part of sadness and being angry, the biggest part to help us would be to go into exception. I accept accepting. I accept that this has happened. I accept that this is really what's going on. And until you can get out of denial and get into that mode of accepting it, you will be in pain. That's just how it is. And that's part of why we're here. We want to gain compassion. We want to gain empathy. We want to be able to gain these feelings of our self-worth so much, because this is what helps us grow. We can't do that on the other side. We don't have challenges on the other side. So we do that here, and I think we do a pretty good job of it, of being in pain. If you want to move forward in your spirituality, though, you have to look at it for what it really is. Pain is a sign that there's a lesson here. Pain is a wake-up. Whether it's you're touching a pan, or you're in a painful relationship, or you're in a painful job, these are all signs saying, wake up. There's learning here. Let's really look at what's going on here. Okay, so the other thing that I was going to talk about, which came up, was the feeling people have of being frustrated because they look at others and they have become very critical. And it's almost like the more fear we have grown up with, we become very critical of others. And when this happens, when we become critical and we cut people down, it feels terrible in here. And the being inside doesn't like that. It doesn't like that feeling, but it wants it because it's trying to understand it. It's just another facet of life here that humans go through, that the being wants to understand. So when we do that, though, when we look at someone and we are very judgmental, what happens to the human is all of a sudden we go back into this clenching, it's disgusting, oh God, and we just start shutting down everywhere. And we are holistic beings, so if we shut down one area, we're going to shut down in another. It's just not possible to be someone who is extremely critical and judgmental and have a beautiful energy flow in the body, because you're shutting down. You clench up when you see something or someone that you really don't like. It's just like, okay. So how do we deal with that in life? How can we see ourselves doing that? Because this is something we all have to keep practicing the whole time we're here. And the more we practice, the better we get at it. So let's just take an easy one. let's say you're in a restaurant with some of your friends, your good friends, and you're having fun and you're laughing, and another friend brings a new friend over to the table, a new person, and this person sits down and smiles at you, and you can tell that this person never brushes their teeth. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, it's real easy to go into critical mode, because stuff like that can tend to upset my stomach. And you can start to clench and go, oh, I don't like that. That's yucky, or whatever is going on in your head. I don't think many men are saying, oh, that's yucky, but whatever you say. So what do we do? What do we do when we find ourselves clenching closed again? What you do is you center yourself, and by that I mean just take a breath, start feeling all these things around you, all the people, the sounds and everything. Just feel them go around you, and try to make a connection with whoever is your God, whoever is your source. Just say a quick prayer, a quick, asking for help. Please help me see this person for who they really are. And when you can do that, there's something really magical that we as humans can do to help ourselves become less and less critical. And that is to find the shift into compassion. And in order to do that, kind of an interesting thing to do. Do you remember what shapeshifters are? Like in, I think they had them in Star Trek, and I think they've had them in some of the newer superhero movies too. But a shapeshifter can take on any shape. And so what we can do, we are so powerful, we can do this within seconds. Okay, we can connect, we can be ready within a minute to do this. Take on the shape of whatever is disgusting you with this person. Take on the shape of that person. And once you can do that, once you can open your heart, take on that shape and see what it feels like to live from them, from their being on out. And usually when we do this, what happens is we will start getting a sense of, boy, this person, he has really, really had pain in life. Oh my gosh, it would feel awful to go through with, what he's gone through. I don't think I could even handle it. I don't know what it is, but I feel that. Anybody who, goes out in public and can't even take care of themselves, there's something not right. Something happened to this person as a child, and you start feeling compassion. Once you can feel that compassion, you can get yourself out of critical mode. And that is very important, because that is one of our biggest lessons here, is to not be critical of other beings. Now, we don't have to sit at the table then. Once you've gotten into this compassion, if this is something that's hard for you to be around, you can excuse yourself. You can go do something else. But you leave that person with a feeling in here of compassion. You don't leave obviously upset or anything like that. You leave that person to their life. But when you take yourself away from that table, you leave them with compassion around them instead of disgust, instead of criticalness. Leave them with compassion. Now, this is going to help you grow immensely. It might not do anything for that being right then, but that being could be there just to test you and help you to learn this lesson. There are sayings that they say sometimes we, I can't remember exactly, but we have angels around us when we're not even aware. You guys probably know that really well. Anyway, a lot of times there are beings who come into our lives just to teach us something. So when you're feeling critical, if you want to move up, gain more spirituality, open your heart. Open your heart to that being. Open your heart and take on their shape, no matter who they are. And you will be able to get into a place of compassion. It takes practice. It takes some discipline. Accept who they are. Feel their shape. Feel what it feels like to be them. And leave them in compassion. You don't ever have to stay around someone who's making you uncomfortable. But you can gain control of yourself. And understand to open your heart and stop shutting down all the time. And that's going to help you in ways that will really surprise you in life. And that's a wonderful thing. That's a wonderful exercise to practice if you would like to have more joy in your life and more happiness and more peace. That is something that will bring you these wonderful energies. And so it's up to us how we're feeling. It's up to us if when we are feeling sad or angry, if we want to continue in that, or if we want to accept what is, admit what is and accept it, because it is in our denying of what's really going on. That's where most of the pain resides. If we have a lot of pain inside and we don't know what to do with that, we need to find someone who can help us. You need to find someone who knows how to use emotional freedom technique. I use emotional freedom technique, and I have a way of helping people called journey work that I created that really helps release the pain and remake movies in your head so that you don't have to carry that around anymore with you. It's up to us whether we want to accept the lessons or stay in the pain. And it's really a personal decision, you know. You can stay in that pain as long as you want, but you also have the freedom and the choice to not be in it. But you have to take those steps. You have to admit what's really going on. You have to look at truth and be able to calm yourself down, recognize that truth, take your lesson from it, and then you are in a much better place to make decisions for your life. If you are breaking up with someone, if you're getting a new job, whatever it is, you are in a much better place to make good decisions for your future happiness than if you stay in anger and denial. So we have so much within us that is strong and powerful and good that you can do this. You can understand the energies of being angry and sad. You can understand to look at them. You can understand what to do with them. And with practice, you will get very good at recognizing what truth is right away and accepting it, so you don't have to be in so much pain. But we're human. We will probably be learning this the rest of our life here. And so that's okay. We got eternity. I mean, what are you going to do? You got lots of time on your hands. You might as well learn something. It's a much better way to live. It's a much more peaceful way to live. So understand that acceptance of things brings peace. Denial and pushing away brings pain. Getting the habit of being a shapeshifter is going to bring more compassion and maybe sometimes even empathy into your life, which will then bring you more peace and joy. And understand that when we feel sad or we feel angry or we become judgmental, those are times that we are not living from the heart. We are living out here in fear. And we can make a choice to come back. We can make a choice to live from here, to live in truth, to not try to push things away and deny them, because that's where it's going to bring us pain. So open your heart, connect to your source, allow yourself that peaceful feeling of that connection, and work on allowing yourself to take on the form of others so that you can grow in compassion and love, so that you can grow and have more peace in your life. And understand that so many times the things that we go through are just lessons. They're just things we wanted to learn. And the biggest lesson of all that we can learn from so many of these things is that we have worth. You are an amazing person. You have a being inside of you that is eternal, that will live forever. You can't get rid of energy. You cannot destroy energy. Energy is just eternal. You will last forever. You will live forever. You will experience forever. So you don't have to be in a hurry. But if you want more peace and more joy in your life, I'm hoping that you will try some of the simple exercises that I've talked about, and that they will help you find peace in here and find more happiness. And by the way, when you do get through these tough lessons with people that you have set up these lessons with to learn from, to learn some deep lessons from, many times, then you're ready to find that person who is your match, not to learn lessons with in that way, but to be your partner, to be your closest friend, someone you can go through and learn things with and still stay together and still have this wonderful relationship and have joy together and learn many things together. And it's the same with the job. It's the same with the city you're living in. Once you have learned what you really want and what your lesson was, you can go on from there and have this incredible life. But we'll always be learning, so we'll always have tests. There will always be people who will show up in our life and we will want to clinch. And if we will instead open our heart and take on their shape, you will find compassion instead of those feelings of, being critical and judgmental. And so, remember, I think it was Einstein who said, energy is eternal. It can never go away. It can't be created and it cannot be destroyed. And those are my words for Einstein. Of course, that's not exact, but I hope this helps you with some anger. I hope you understand anger along with pain are gifts. They're just signs for us to say, hey, a lesson's right in front of you. You can take it and get out of your pain, or you can stay in pain for a little bit longer if you're, wanting to learn more. But it's up to us. You have the freedom to choose. And so I hope this will help you choose more joy and peace in your life. Namaste, my dear friends. I hope you have a wonderful day or night. And I hope that this helps you and you can practice along with me, because I'm sure I will be practicing this stuff for the rest of my life here. So, bye-bye.